Hi guys, Linda here from Create Your Future, and I want to talk about the 3 things you must do, 3 must-dos to manifest. Before we begin, you know the drill, look in the description box below. If you'd like one-on-one coaching with me, the link is in there, and also a link to our free course on how to uncover your blocks and manifest fast. So, number 1 of the 3 things you need to do to manifest is to have courage and strength. You need to have courage and strength to let go of the old story, to let go of those fears, to let go of those limiting beliefs, and to be vulnerable. You have to have courage and strength to change because it's not just about what somebody else did or those affirmations or things like that. Law of assumption is a journey of self. We need to be aware of what we did and what we said to create the unfavorable circumstances. So you have to have the courage and strength to be ready to change. It might be a hard pill to swallow, but everyone is you pushed out. So it's all coming from within and it's reflecting without. So have the courage and strength to be prepared to make those changes. Number 2, be honest with yourself. I have a lot of people that say, I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't thinking anything. I was doing all the techniques. It's not my fault that SP cheated. It's not my fault that my boss fired me. It's not my fault they did this and they did that. So you have to realize that you created that version of them and they're just reflecting back to you your mental diet, your poor self-concept, your beliefs, the stories you hold of them, the stories you hold of yourself. So we're not here to blame ourselves. No blame, no judgment. It's actually something to help us be aware of what we were thinking. If you reverse engineer and think, when this thing occurred, what was I thinking, worried about, fearing about, complaining about? What kind of conversation was I having in my head? What was I talking to my friends about before this thing occurred? Then you're going to realize that, oh, I did create this. I was thinking this. Now, to go back to not blaming or having any judgment, Neville Goddard has a quote that says, "Do not waste one moment in regret. For to think feelings of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself." So that means you're just going to create the same thing over and over again if you keep blaming yourself. You're keeping yourself as the version of yourself that has a low self-concept, a low mental, not the greatest mental diet. You're keeping yourself as the version that created that issue, created that problem. So there's no point in blaming or shaming ourselves. We just need to be aware of what we were thinking, catch it, and change that story for next time. We also need to drop the victim mentality and blaming others because you created that and nothing changes if nothing changes. So Einstein says we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created it. So if you're still going to blame SP, if you're still going to get upset at your boss, if you're still going to blame others and take no onus for yourself, and no responsibility for what you were thinking that created it, or some people have actually done 3D actions. Like, let's be real, let's be honest with ourselves. Then nothing's going to change. So on that note, the third thing, before the third thing, another quote that stood out to me is, you can't change what you can't see. So if you don't see, and if you're not aware of what you were doing, thinking, the version of you were being, then you don't know what to change. So being honest with yourself and reflecting on what you were thinking, fearing, assuming, yada, 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 then you will know what to change moving forward for that to reflect favorably back to you. So the third and last of my 3 points is to have faith and trust. We need to have faith and trust that it's going to happen. We need to have faith and trust that it's going to work. We need to have faith in the unseen and know that everything is a bridge of incidents leading you to that thing. The minute we start to say it's not working, I don't see movement, you're wavering again. Now you're 1 foot in and you're 1 foot out. You can't be, affirming, doing all these techniques that you have SP, you have the job, you're confident, you're the best of the best, yes, yes. And in the next breath, well, it's not working. I don't think it's going to work. It's taking 2 weeks. You need to have faith in the unseen. So let me point something out to you. When you're thinking of something negative, like you didn't get the call from the job yet, you have no proof whether you got the job or not, but you can, in that circumstance, believe in the unseen that I probably didn't get the job. They probably called somebody else. They were not calling me back. I didn't get it. Maybe somebody's better than me. Maybe somebody has more experience than I do. And what ends up happening? You get that phone call that that's what happened. You didn't get the job. You had so much faith in the unseen for the negative. Or SP doesn't call you. He's probably with another girl. Was it something bad that I said? Did I say something wrong? Maybe they're with another guy. Maybe they're pulling away. Maybe they're ghosting. So again, you have faith in that unseen circumstance story that with your imagination you're creating, and unfortunately sometimes it actually reflects back. So why can't we have the same faith and trust in the unseen for the favorable thing? For example, seeing yourself with SP, imagining you getting that phone call, changing that thought from I'm not going to get the job to of course I'm going to get the job because I'm amazing, I'm super qualified, I always get what I want, everything works out for me. We need to have faith in the unseen for the favorable story. So it's easier for us to have faith in the unseen of a negative story because that's just been our autopilot monkey chatter that we've been believing, thinking, experiencing from birth, from past experiences, from things people told us, from 3D, from limiting beliefs. So it's going to feel uncomfortable when we're trying to believe in the unseen of the favorable story because I don't know, this feels uncomfortable. I kind of don't think it's going to work. It's never happened before. But the more you return back to that state, the more you return back to the favorable story, the more you return back to the version of yourself that has ... it will eventually saturate your subconscious mind and you will start to believe it or at least see it as neutral and possible. Your subconscious mind has no other choice but to show proof that that is true. And then that is how you're going to create the favorable story. So Neville Goddard calls something like this brazen impudence. So brazen impudence is that unwavering confidence and persistence in pursuing your desire regardless of external circumstances or oppositions. Let me say that again. You have to have faith and trust with brazen impudence, have brazen impudence that you're going to get your desire. Brazen impudence is unwavering confidence and persistence in pursuing one's desires regardless of external circumstances or opposition. I don't care what you're seeing in the 3D, what Joe Blow said, your friends that are telling you not to, what the circumstances look like. You have to have trust and faith that you can achieve it. You deserve this. This is your right. This is your birthright. And whenever you're having those doubts, you need to catch and say, no, interrupt that thought. I am going to get the job. I did get the job because I am amazing. I am qualified. I'm great. No, SP is going to call me. Maybe their phone died. They're dying to get to their phone to call me because they love me so much. They love talking to me because I'm always chosen. I'm prioritized. You got to come with that brazen impudence, that conviction that you deserve this. At the end of the day, if you have a desire, the reason why you have a desire is because it's yours. On another timeline, you've experienced it. That's why some people desire one thing, other people don't desire that thing. You desire it because in another timeline, in another, in your subconscious mind, you've experienced this person, you deserve this person, you've been with this person, and now we just have to go within and work on ourselves so that we can attract in that version of that person from that timeline to meet us on our timeline. The timeline where we are the version of ourselves that are successful manifestors, master manifestors, the versions of ourselves that are worthy of receiving, that are worthy of achieving and getting whatever we want to get and, bring it from the 4D to the 3D because everything starts in the imagination. Everything you see, a table, a TV show, somebody thought of that idea first and then eventually it came into the 3D. They had inspired action. They met a producer. They met an actor. Somebody wrote the play. It turned into a movie. Now it's a TV show. That's how it works. Everything starts in the 4D first, and then will show up in the 3D. So whether you're thinking an unfavorable story dominantly or the favorable story dominantly, it will show up. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to try to, tip the scales. Even if it's by 1%, even if it's 1% higher in the more favorable story, that's okay. You are in the favorable story more dominant. You're going to start seeing movement. You're going to start seeing what you desired come to be. And even if you don't see movement, trust that it's happening. Trust me. I have had situations where, for example, I didn't think I got a job that I was trying for 4 years, and I was thinking, of course, unfavorably, like I didn't get it. They would have called me by now and all of that. And then I said, nope, I went back within. I got the job. I'm amazing, this and that. I didn't hear from them for 2 weeks. They had told me themselves that we're going to call you in 2 weeks if you were a successful candidate. It was almost a month later. So I said, okay, well, they didn't call me, so I didn't get the job. Next thing I know, probably over a month later, I'm going to say maybe 5 or 6 weeks later, I get an email that I was a successful candidate and that I got the job. And when I started to correspond with HR to send my documents in, what happened was the lady that took my my score and my interview ended up going on vacation, and they didn't have someone to cover the HR person. So by the time she came back, she picked up where she left off and notified all of us. So that's why it was taking so long. There was movement. I got the job. I just didn't see it yet because of the situation that happened with the HR. So again, have blind faith and trust in the unseen with brazen impudence. This is yours. You deserve this. We were not put on this earth to wake up, go to work, be miserable, depressed, lonely, angry, upset, repeat, and die. Like, that's not the meaning of life. That's not why we were put here. We're just so conditioned with the patterns and the stories of our ancestors and our parents and our families and things that happened to them and what we saw growing up and the stories that we heard and what these dating coaches are saying and what your friends are saying and get over him, and if he wanted to, he would have, and you're too old for this, you're too young for that we've accepted that as factual. So we just on autopilot divert to that thinking, to that story, and we keep creating unfavorable circumstances. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be hard. I like to tell myself I can manifest easily and effortlessly. Because if you think it's hard, it's going to be hard. What you assume to be true is going to be true. So I try to, even though, let's be real, it's not the easiest thing. Like I always say, if it was easy, we'd all be millionaires, we'd all be billionaires, we'd all be married, we'd all have the perfect partner, the perfect body, the perfect health, the perfect life. If it was as easy as saying 10 affirmations and, before bed. There is more to this, and I just want everybody to know that the reason why you might not have your manifestation yet is because there's this little piece we need to unlock that I think people are afraid to do. Everyone likes to jump onto the easy technique, the challenge, the 10,000 affirmation challenge. Okay, so I have a clicker on my phone and I'm saying my affirmation, I'm saying my affirmation, I'm saying my affirmation. And on the 900, the 99, or the 9,000th, 999th affirmation, one more, boop, the doorbell will ring and SP will come. And then what happens when SP is not here? You gotta do the work. It's for yourself. You're worth it. You deserve it. You could put all the work in thinking something nasty and unfavorable. Why can't we just get a little bit uncomfortable? Think of the opposite, which is the more favorable story. You don't have to believe it. You just have to say it. And the more you say it, your subconscious mind has to reflect it. You can look up the reticular activating system, which is the same thing. When you think something, you see something. If I say yellow elephant, yellow elephant, yellow elephant, tomorrow you're going to see a yellow elephant. It's the same thing. You don't need to believe it. You just need to say it and think it and live as if, visualize it, whatever technique you want to use as a tool to continue to stay in the end state of having that desire is what you need to do. So just to recap, number one, you need to have courage and strength to be willing to be vulnerable and changing. Number two, you need to be honest with yourself and be aware of how you created the unfavorable circumstance without judgment, without shame, so that we can change. Remember, you can't change what you can't see. And the third one, lastly, was to have faith and trust in yourself and in the law that you can and will get your desires with brazen impudence. You guys got this. You deserve this. You got this. Come on, let's go. And if you need any help with this, feel free to book a session with me and I will be your personal cheerleader and I'll help you through this and I will help you manifest your desire quickly. So on that note, I will talk to you guys soon. I intend that this helped many of you out there and I will see you next time. Bye.